Maybe. What's going on, Star Wars fans?
Hello there.
We are back. So happy New Year to everybody. Thank you all for joining in already. Me and Derek and Nick were talking about it's cool to have people jumping on. So again, I know I put a video out late last year to thank you guys, but it means so much for us, for you guys to be here for, 2 hours hanging out talking about Star Wars. So thanks for coming on, and we appreciate it. So how are you guys? Nick, Derek, Mike will be here in a little bit.
Man, I'm great. I'm well rested after the holidays. How about you guys?
Same.
Good.
Yeah, I'm great. Feel like I haven't been here in a while because I missed our last one. So I'm really happy to be back to form.
It was it was interesting because I did a little bit by myself, but then I did the interview with Brandon, who was which is great. So if you guys haven't seen that episode yet that I did with Brandon from Clan Brandalorian, it's pretty tricky to say, but he's all over social media as well. He's a big Lego Funko guy. We had a great conversation. We're definitely going to get him on here live. Works out he's actually off on Wednesdays, so hope we'll have to get him on here and be chatting about that. So everybody that's on here, I'm gonna go back here and see who's on here and say hello.
Mom and Dad,
Max Rebo. Yep, Mom and Dad.
Hello.
Jedi Jarvo, thank you. Larry, what's going on? How are you? What else we got in here?
Max Rebo's back.
Yep. Oh yeah. So we thank you guys for coming on here. So big news, I think, and I think it's going to be a good way to go. And I know we had sort of talked about it before, but the whole Kathleen Kennedy retiring and going back and forth, and now it looks like Dave could actually get the co-host or the co-president spot here. And I know there was some, when Mike had the podcast on and we had talked about it, and maybe we did as well, it's sort of interesting to see, I think, because Dave's doing such a great job as creative. And I hope that I know he'll be the president, but I hope that he still gets to do the creative part as well, because I think he's just done such a great job so far. And I know people were worried about him, maybe sort of being too far removed from it. So what's your guys' thoughts?
Derek.
Ooh, in Filoni we trust.
Yes.
In Filoni we trust. I mean, I love the role he's in, and I think any distaste for Kathleen has kind of gone away from me in the last few years, especially like as I've started watching more of the Light and Sound documentaries and different things, and seeing her past work and how important that was. Now, of course, there's missteps with everything, but she's also handling a massive, massive company. I mean, incredibly massive. And historically, she has done very well. So that being said, I would also like to see Filoni stay in more of a creative role and not a major leadership role.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe like be more of a consultant. I don't know.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think part of like why we've talked about this a few times, that part of why maybe some of us are hesitant in totally handing all of Kathleen Kennedy's job to Dave is that it might take away from what he's already great at.
Mm-hmm.
Just bandwidth wise, like it's a lot of things that don't have, it's probably a lot of boring stuff that doesn't have anything to do with creating Star Wars. It's production budget stuff. I think what Max Rebo just said, I want Dave greenlighting shows, not approving PTO requests and budgets.
Yep.
That's kind of exactly what we've been talking about. However, maybe if he's a co-president, he can kind of give like, more of a creative opinion, like from the creative side of Lucasfilm, an opinion on what direction they choose to go with new projects and stuff like that might be helpful. But I don't want him, running the business end of the thing. I want him writing Star Wars or
Yeah,
filming Star Wars or animating
being
Star
involved in the story.
Yeah, and I think we were really quick as a fandom to jump on make him president. It's like, well, I think the best of his talents are, where they need to be now. And I feel like at that time he was pretty new to the new role, or the role that he's in now. And I think if he's co-president, like people have been saying, him and I don't remember the other individual's name, but it'd be like a co-president situation. It sounds like he would just have the same job he has now, just at a more executive level, you know, which I think is what we need him for, uh, sometimes you do need like somebody who's very strong at the business end and maybe doesn't know Star Wars that can push projects through. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need Kathleen Kennedy to know Star Wars, honestly. I just need her to be able to give us more Star Wars and lean on the people who do know it, like a Dave Filoni, which sounds like that's kind of what's been happening recently in the last couple of years. So I'm all for those rumors anyway of him splitting the role.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. Like you said, I agree with you for sure that he's going to be, hopefully he'll just continue with his creative spot, but also be up, maybe handle some more, like you said, executive stuff, but keep his hands in the pot here. And I don't think it's going to be that big of a change, because I think, whoever, with Kathleen there and him and her get along fine, I'm sure. It'll be great for him to move in there. But again, you still have this thing called Disney, and it has its own president as well, as now we know with the Hunt for Ben Solo, where you can have this amazing project and, nope, we're not doing it. So that's the thing, is as much as whoever's in there, George Lucas could go back in there and Disney's still going to have the final word. And that's the sad part, I think, sometimes, especially after seeing this whole, Hunt for Ben Solo get sort of shot down. And I think it will come to fruition at some point with some sort of story. But I think it's really sad that you have everybody on the Star Wars side going, yes. And then somebody from Disney is just like, nah, I don't think so. I don't know how you can bring them back. So hopefully with Dave being in there, maybe, and we get a new CEO or FO or whatever it is, president for Disney.
Well, yeah, that's probably going to be Josh D'Amaro, who's the head of parks. The way that's looking right now.
And that's perfect. That's a perfect segue, because that's what we were gonna roll into. So again, let us know what you guys think. I know Nathan said something about some of the Legends material coming in with Dave. I think that could definitely, like Nick had said, he could sort of overpower some of these things and say, hey, let's bring in some Legend stuff, and this is why. So I think that's definitely a good thing for Dave. But yeah, let's sort of talk about that whole, because that's part of Star Wars too, depending on who Disney gets as a new president, what's going to go on with that there.
Yeah, and it's going to be exciting, I think, because if they do go with Josh D'Amaro, which is what most people are anticipating, he's a parks guy. That is his thing. Like, parks are his thing, and that storytelling. And so I could see a much larger budget go into parks if he's the person. Plus, they're doing so many projects right now at all the parks. So what that means for Star Wars is I'm hoping that we're going to get more characters in there. We're going to get more guest interactions, more things like that. But also, we do have, we have updates of like the Mando and Grogu ride overlay for Smuggler's Run, which is going to be awesome. And it's just going to give us that many more opportunities. So, it's like when you go on the ride, have you guys been, when's the last time you guys been to Disney?
2022 for me.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
It's been a minute for me.
Okay.
Well, no, I have gone. So actually 2019.
Okay. So you've been there though.
Yeah.
And did you do Star Tours the last time you were there?
Mm-hmm.
So Star Tours, I mean, they've got, gosh, I don't know how many versions of Star Tours that you can get when you go on the ride. And so once from my understanding, once after a while of the Mandalorian and Grogu overlay, then it'll go back to the other one, and I think it'll like mix them, as far as I know. But the big thing too with the ride is there's going to be some really new things, like so new missions. They're going to be from what is leaked or what they're trying to say right now is that Mando and Grogu are trying to track down pirates and ex-Imperials, and still might have something to do. I doubt it's going to have anything to do with the coaxium that's on the ride now, and you're going to be able to actually work with like Grogu. So right now the engineer role is kind of like a just push a few little buttons and it's kind of lame. Now you're going to be able to interact with Grogu, and I'm excited to see what that looks like. And then also you're going to go to some different planets. I think Bespin, maybe I think part of the Death Star wreckage in Coruscant. So we've got some really cool things coming with that technology. And what a lot of people I think don't realize about that ride, a week before they opened, it didn't work.
Which one?
Did not
Smuggler's Run.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
So if you watch, I think it's the Imagineering Story, episode number 5 on Disney Plus. You can see that one's a lot about Galaxy's Edge, and they're talking about the technology they use, and they were working with like NVIDIA and like Unreal Engine and stuff. And a week before the park opened, it still didn't work.
Wow.
It didn't line up. Yeah. It's something.
Do we anticipate that kind of a thing now, or do they have the kind of,
No.
Yeah.
They've got it. I mean, it's done. They're already testing it.
Now, do you think that'll have anything to do with, and we've talked about this a little bit before, for the Mandalorian and Grogu movie? And what will be in there to give us little Easter eggs or secrets or what? Do you think?
I don't think it's going to give away anything in the movie, because if you look at how they did other things like Rise of the Resistance, like, yeah, Rise of the Resistance has to do with the movies, and that, that's the other ride, if anybody's not familiar. But with Rise of the Resistance, it doesn't give away anything in the movies, and that's what they want. They want it to be vague, and they want it to be able to live on.
So then maybe you've said this already, Derek, but what about the other way around? Is first question, is Hondo Anaka still going to be an animatronic available to it?
I hope so.
And if so, does that could it go the other way around where we get like a Hondo in something that, from the ride that we get into the show that's not necessarily like consequential of the plot, but visually, even if it's like a landscape that we end up seeing in the movie that we haven't seen on the ride before, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think Hondo's probably going to stay. The only reason, especially with like the pirate theming and everything, and I think that will go into the movie. I'm hoping he ends up in the movie. I think it would be amazing. The only reason that he could go away is because that animatronic breaks down a lot.
Oh.
And if they have an opportunity to get rid of it,
they'll take it.
But people protest when they do that stuff. Every time they take something away, like anytime you're on Navi River journey in Pandora, the Avatar boat ride, whenever the animatronic goes down and they put this like screen up and it's just a video of her, people lose their mind. So like if they take one of the best animatronics they've ever made that leads you into the ride with one of the best characters, I think people would really throw a fit.
The real question is, would you throw a fit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, because like I have his special edition Funko Pop somewhere that you could only get. This did kind of make me mad. They were like, this is only going to be an opening weekend Funko Pop. You can still buy it.
Yeah.
Like, you guys. But we know how Funko is. That what they say, they had like $3 million worth of dead inventory.
Right.
Yeah, it was crazy. Actually, when I was talking to Brandon, he was talking about that they're, they weren't doing great, but it was like, I was like, how are you not? I mean, I guess maybe because they're putting so much product out and they just sort of, oversaturated the market. But I mean, again, Derek knows. I mean, the new one comes out, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go and get that one. New one
Yep.
comes out, here we go.
Yeah, I think the problem they have is their margins are really tight. You look at a figure that's still only like $12 to $20. I mean, there's some that are a little bit more, but not much. And you got to sell a lot of those to make money. And now they've done so much marketing, and so that that's an interesting thing. I mean, this is really going down a rabbit hole that has nothing to do with Star Wars necessarily. But you look at like one of these, a Star Wars Funko Pop. Not only it costs them production to make it, they have to design it. They have all of the lights they have to keep on, all of the shipping, and then you have to pay a licensing fee. So I bet their margin on like Star Wars, and I mean, all they do is licensing. I bet their margins are very, very, very low.
Well, and I think now they're probably doing, that's why they did the whole thing. You can go get your own.
Of course.
So you're not paying any licensing on that. That just means if I want to go in and get one with a bald head and a beard and some glasses or whatever, I can go do that. So it looks like me. And
I've already got a Santa Claus one back here. It's fine.
Public domain.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right though. And I would imagine that's part of their struggle. Plus, they've got a lot of marketing budget with Funko and a lot of the cool stuff they do. It takes money. It takes money.
Yeah.
Ooh, Jedi
So
Jarvo.
I'm gonna who did Jarvo?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Did anybody get any Star Wars stuff?
Mm-hmm. I did. I got my nephew got me this really amazing like Japanese style scroll, and it's like a picture, and it's Samurai Darth Vader in this really cool scene. Well, I've got Samurai Darth Vader tattoo right here.
Nice.
So that was really cool. Got a new set of grilling like spatulas and tongs that are all Star Wars. Gotta love that. And then I made this for myself today. So Iowa Wookiees. So
there you go.
Iowa Wild hockey team, once a year they do Star Wars night. And they're the Wookiees every year. So last year I got the shirt, and 2 years ago I wasn't able to get it. And I may or may not have found the image. Don't tell anybody. No, I found the image online. I'm not selling these. This is just for me. It's a one-off. But I was able to make one. So
nice.
Larry got the Mandalorian Monopoly. I think I have that. I think I have the Star Wars one too. That's pretty cool.
I have the Star Wars one.
Yeah, I remember getting the Star Wars one when I was a kid for Christmas, and it was the year that Revenge of the Sith had come out, so it was like finally complete because the previous Star Wars Monopoly didn't have the prequels in it. And so like it was like finally all the story in it, and now it's probably so out of date. I don't know. I think it's at my parents' house, but
well, that's like, just moving around. I sent you guys that video. I'm some of you guys know I'm actually going to post a video tomorrow. I'm going to just sort of what the process is going on, but I'm redoing the room, and it's just crazy finding some of the things that I've been able to find, and I thought that was just sort of cool. But I got the number one, the old 1977, the very first Star Wars comic from Jacob, my son.
Very cool.
Wow.
He got that for me,
Dang.
which was cool. I got a couple and it's got the thing around it with the little, like, it's graded, whatever you call that when they grade it, so which was
It's like
which is pretty
official.
cool. Yeah. So that was pretty cool. I got some pops. But usually I buy them and give them to my wife and say, here, you can wrap these and give them to me for Christmas.
Nice.
So, but yeah. So did you get anything, Nick, Star Wars wise?
Kind of in an indirect way. My parents got me a hoodie with the outline of it's like from a picture, but it's like a drawing of Chewie, which my Chewie, this one right here.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of indirectly,
Yeah.
Star Wars, but I don't think I got. I think it's the first year in a long time that I don't think I got anything memorabilia wise Star Wars.
Everybody thinks
Which is
you're too
interesting.
old.
Well,
You're too old. Well,
if they
my
think-
problem is
if
that-
anyone thinks I have too much, look behind Ron, and I'll tell
right.
you.
I mean, that's my problem is people are like, I don't know what to get you and what you already have. I'm like, I am not upset if I had doubles of anything.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah, I'm redoing the Funko wall too, and I've come
Lord.
across a couple. I've come across a couple doubles that I had, and I was like, oh, okay, these will be good Christmas presents for Nick and Derek next year.
Yay! Hey! Nick got cold.
I got this because Ron got doubles.
Oh
Yep.
yeah,
Look at
I got
that.
that one somewhere. I did think it was cool. So I'm playing hockey now, and I'm like, I need to make a hockey jersey, but I thought I should do it for us, and then I'll get all you guys some, and then if people wanted to buy them, we could do that.
We could.
So I'm open for ideas.
Nice. Well, I can't see him there. Mike's in the wings here.
Yeah,
there
there
we
we
go.
He is.
Hello
he
there.
is.
Hello
Hello
there.
there. How are you?
I'm doing splendid. How are you guys tonight?
Good.
Better now that
We
you're
were,
here, buddy.
we were just talking Christmas gifts. Did you get any Star Wars Christmas gifts?
Yes. A lot. No. It is
Nice.
the best perk, honestly, of running a Star Wars YouTube channel, because for the first couple of years, I wouldn't tell anybody that I do this because, I mean, they'd probably laugh, and they still do, but whatever.
Right. Me too.
When it started becoming a big thing and people like kind of took it seriously, they were like, okay, what do we get Mike for his birthday or Christmas? And it's just always Star Wars stuff. So it's like the greatest thing ever. It's just a steady income of Star Wars merchandise.
Yeah.
But specifically for this Christmas, I did get the GOAT himself. Hang on. Ooh, Yang.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I got some other pretty crazy stuff. I don't know if I can plug this in. It's like, I'll show you. It's literally just this. It's this thing, and it spins really, really fast and shows
Oh.
holograms. So like
Yep.
the Help
Yeah.
Me Obi-Wan, You're My Only Hope stuff, and Order
Oh.
66. Like, it's really cool.
That's cool.
That is cool.
I do
And
not
then,
have that.
What else did I get? Oh, I got these are playing cards, and it looks like book ends almost. It's a
Oh,
New
nice.
Hope, Empire, and Return of the Jedi. And it's just decks of cards. I don't know. I probably got some other pop figures and stuff like that, but
Nice. Nice.
oh,
Yes.
and Legos. I get so many
Oh, did
Legos.
you? Oh, really?
I haven't built a Lego in the longest time, and at someday soon when I have like a better setup, I'll probably do like a live stream and just build Legos because I don't know. I don't have any urge to build them. I feel like,
Yeah, I've got a few that are still in boxes from last year.
yeah, me too.
I've been busy. I'm a busy guy.
Who was it? Jarvo? No, Max brought that up. Congratulations, Mike. 190,000 followers.
Oh, thank you,
Pretty
thank you.
freaking
Oh.
cool, dude.
Yeah,
Gosh, I can't even count to 190.
it is. Yeah, it is pretty crazy. I know I've been getting a lot of people actually recently come into my live streams and be like, "How is there only like 70 people here? You have 190,000 subscribers." I'm like, "Well, the majority of that comes from YouTube Shorts." So, but no, it is really, really crazy. It just keeps getting more crazy. Like, you can't fathom that sort of number. But yeah, it's pretty great. I really don't know what else to say. It's
No, that's
impossible.
awesome.
It's impossible
it's,
to fathom that. I don't know. It just gets crazier and crazier, and the number keeps going up. I don't know what it is.
Did
Yeah.
you ever
Well, we
think
were-
that you were going to have numbers anywhere near that when
No.
you started this?
No, I mean, you look to the skies and be like, oh yeah, maybe, but no, definitely not. Especially when it's like year number 2 and you're only at 900 subscribers or something like that, and you're like, what is the point anymore? But yeah, it's pretty nice to look back and celebrate, I suppose.
But that's why you have a mic, because you were doing it for the love of the game. You weren't
Exactly.
chasing
Yeah.
it. doing it
Well,
for the
there is
love of the game, and then they followed.
That's true. That is true. And I mean, there's a lot of people who do it for the hate of the game as well. But
Mhm.
Very true.
We
You can
got
go down one
we got
of two paths.
moderators for that.
yes, exactly.
Well, and that's the thing. I think it's cool because, like you said, we're at 2 years now, I think, or almost, or a little over. I'm not sure what it is, but and I have almost 2,500, which I'm like very excited about. And we were talking about it beforehand. People are on here before we even get on, so it's exciting, and they want to come and spend time with us and talk, which is great because I really haven't talked about Star Wars in 2.5 weeks. So it's like, we haven't been able to come on here, but to continue for you to keep going, and just because you, like Nick just said, for the love of the game, and then all of a sudden it just goes and goes, and and that's the cool part about it, is the people that are here right now listening to us talk about Star Wars and putting their comments in, so we can talk about the new things that are coming out, and things that we can headcanon all about. So that's the thing, is the whole Star Wars community, I think, is really cool.
It is. It's unbelievably cool. And you guys say a similar thing all the time. It's like we create these channels to provide a place for people to talk about Star Wars that just want to talk about Star Wars. It's very rare to find a place where you can just not get absolutely shit on for your opinion on anything. Never mind just Star Wars, but anything. And it's nice to see that, like, at least there's a few places, at least a few that people can find that they won't get absolutely obliterated for their opinions, unless, of course, they think that Cal Kestis is going to die on Alderaan. Then that's a different story. But
that guy, Max.
Well, even that. First off, just want to point out, Mike has the first swear word of the year, 2026.
Oh,
right.
I don't even know what I said. What did I say?
You said shit. It's okay.
Oh, damn it.
That's fine.
I think we can say the F word 3 times.
Yeah.
In the whole year? Okay.
No. Every episode.
Okay.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think I've done that yet, which is,
I don't know.
sorry,
I might
Nick,
have
go ahead.
put us over the edge of time or two. Sorry. But no, but what you're saying, what you were saying, Derek and Mike, about some guy who talks about Cal Kestis dying on Alderaan, our boy Max Rebo, we get to talk to him every week. We wouldn't know him otherwise if we didn't,
True.
come on here and talk Star Wars. We get these little, however big or small or consistent ecosystems of people that we just like to hang out with.
It's
and
way
like-
better than my YouTube channel.
Well, and like you guys said, this kind of gets hard to, even ask questions about anything on other reaches of the internet, and particularly for Star Wars, but a lot of other things as well. So,
And I think our fan base is great here. It's like I said, I have a YouTube channel where I do like tech reviews and Jeep videos and stuff. And like the stuff that people say on my comments are wild. And I know Mike deals with this way more, but like I just had one today where a guy was really upset about a Jeep video where I was installing speakers, and he was like, well, that doesn't work on a 2025. And I was like, well, mine's not a 2025. I don't know what to tell you. Let me go out and buy a new Jeep. But you guys are great. This audience is amazing. I love you guys.
It is funny because my shorts audience that I just was talking about, that is way bigger than my regular like live streams and stuff. They are very hostile. Like very. I made a short about 2025 and how good a year it was, and talking about like where it ranks amongst all other years. And people were like, 2025 sucked. Star Wars is dead. What are you even talking about? I'm like, what? What's happening here?
Yeah, that's on TikTok. That's what I get all the time.
Yep.
All the controversial stuff that everybody's like, yeah, Lucas is this, or Disney did this, and it's just like, oh, okay. And I don't respond to them. But again, it's fun because sometimes that will get that algorithm going, and then people start, it doesn't even have to be us interacting with it, but that'll get the algorithm going and continue to talk, whether it's good or bad. But the cool thing for me is sometimes, I read through all the comments and I'll learn some new stuff, and go back and pull a book up or Google it or get on Wikipedia and see if it's true, and then read into it. So there's always something that, as much as we've watched and read and all the stuff for Star Wars, you're still going to get some more information as you go along. I'm doing
Yeah.
Clone Wars and Rebels right now again, still, and still pick up on things.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I'm watching Rebels again right now. It's
Me too.
like I knew this was good the first 2 times I watched it, but the third time around, I'm just like, this show
It's
is so great.
Yeah. It's great because I'm watching through all this stuff with Sam again, my girlfriend, and it's her first time watching it. So I've watched Rebels 1,000 times, but to have her reaction to watching it for the first time, because I haven't watched it for the first time in years, so I don't really remember what it was like not knowing what's going to happen. And it's very cool to just watch.
First
We're
thing
still
we
on season
got.
1, though.
It was the first thing we got with the Disney purchase.
True. They started with
Kind
a
of
bang.
crazy. Yeah, kind of crazy to think about.
I also realized I used to watch it in the mornings before I went to work, and there was a lot of times where I would doze off. And so like I'm like seeing things, I'm like, even the third time around, I'm like, I don't remember that. That did not happen. And
awesome.
so yeah.
There's always fun things to do. Speaking of animation, what do we think about Maul? I'm like, come on, let's get something. Let's
Yeah.
get something going. I know we're getting the comics,
I'm
which I'm
excited.
excited about.
Yeah,
But
I'm excited for Maul. My thing is where is the trailer or an announcement for a release date? Even
Right.
like
exactly.
something. We did get those images a couple days ago that were like either leaked or enhanced from Star Wars Celebration images, whatever it was. But sort of confirming that we already knew it because of the leaked trailer from Celebration, but there was a Twilight Apprentice character. He's fighting what looks to be a Jedi with a blue lightsaber at some point. He's talking to Marok from Ahsoka as an Inquisitor, still alive. So there's going to be crossover characters. There's going to be familiar faces in Maul Shadowlord. And it's right after Order 66. It's kind of a place in the timeline that's not too explored because later on in that gap between the prequels and the originals has plenty of stuff. Andor, Rogue One, Rebels, Kenobi, Solo, comics galore. But this early phase is kind of unexplored except for the Bad Batch. So getting to see the underworld with Maul and what he's up to and the whole Pike Syndicate and Hutt Syndicate and all these different people, it's going to be a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one.
I see what you did there.
Well, it's I think it's similar to have you finished the new Darth Vader book,
Master of Evil.
Master
Yeah.
of
Oh,
Evil.
it's so
No,
good. Oh
so
my gosh.
again, it's right
So good.
afterwards. So
Yeah.
it's cool that we get to or whatever you see in your mind, but we get to read about and learn some more stuff right after Order 66 because, like you said, Mike, it's not really gone into depth. We have all these Order 66 videos and memories and all that stuff, which I think is cool, and I'll take as many as they'll give us from different points of view, but we don't have a lot right after to see what happened. So this should be fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we don't have any obviously not like the plot or anything, but any like new information. I mean,
Right.
I felt that we'd at least before the new year started have a date or a teaser or have them talk about it at all.
Yeah.
It'd be great if they just release all of this stuff at the Super Bowl. Everything.
Yeah.
All Star Wars. It's a Star Wars Super Bowl.
That'd be nice.
It'd be great.
My thing with that and there being a lack of announcement, I guess, is the end of last year didn't really have like a D23 or an investor meeting type thing where we would get announcements, except for, I guess, the video game awards, which we did get pretty great announcements. But yeah, there hasn't really been a chance to. So if they're going to announce a release date or a trailer, it'll just be on a random day.
Yeah.
And that random day, I guess, has not come yet. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And I would throw in there that like for a Super Bowl type thing, like that's probably a swing they want to take with a Mando and Grogu thing. It'd be really early, but I just feel like Maul is going to be so under the table that we're going to feel like we've been talking about this and like it's going to
Yeah, they're not going to do
5
a
people.
advertisement at the Super Bowl for Maul.
Right.
That's going to be online here somewhere for
Yeah.
all of us to just freak out about.
It'll
But
go
you're
crazy
right.
on like IGN's Twitter and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But it,
Yeah.
But Mandalorian and Grogu, like you said, is going to pop off, and that would be a great one for the Super Bowl. But yeah, we just, like you said, just something, a date, a couple more pictures, a 30-second teaser trailer would be awesome, just so we have an idea of what's going on, and because they have to know we're all chomping at the bit.
But that's what I love. That's so. I mean, I really want it. Obviously, we all do. But like, this is genius to me. Like, they're just creating speculation by putting out nothing.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, Max Rebo wasn't solo trailer dropped at the Super Bowl. I think it was, and that's why like I've been an advocate of saying like we're gonna get something big for Mando Grogu at the Super Bowl, especially with how invested Disney is with the Super Bowl and ESPN, considering they own ESPN, and then whoever the winning team is goes to either Disneyland or Disney World the next day, because I've been there for it several times, even though I've had to see Tom Brady more times than I care.
Yeah. And we're
Hey.
hoping to see Drake May this year.
You watch your mouth. That's a bad word. Go Dolphins.
May.
Fins up. You have two Dolphins fans here.
Oh, but
Didn't
Get
they just
outta
get
here, Mike.
smacked by the Pats last weekend?
That doesn't.
yep.
Oh yeah. Woohoo. We also haven't won a playoff game in 25 years. Come on.
I'm just saying, there's going to be some fingernail polish on that Super Bowl football, gentlemen.
Get out of here. The Bears don't stand a chance. Come on.
Put a little extra spin on that ball.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I digress.
I have a question.
Darth Maul.
Yeah, I have a question for you guys, since we just kind of touched on Funkos and toys and stuff. When something like the Bad Batch was coming out, I feel like mentally I'm placing Maul in the same category as Bad Batch, and we've talked about why. Maybe a couple of seasons and it's its own thing. When they were teeing up the Bad Batch, did they do that sort of thing that they do with the shows where there's a pre-release of some action figures or Lego sets, like that sort of thing, where there's like an on-ramp to the show?
don't remember.
They do it with live action stuff, but I don't recall if they
Yeah.
did it for the Bad Batch, and I feel like maybe all of that extra stuff was after the fact, once they figured out people liked it. I don't know, but
Well, I think there was a Maul action figure that leaked a few months ago from the Maul series. So maybe they're like got it ready to go, but I don't remember the Bad Batch, that happening with the Bad Batch at least.
because I guess my point is, even that stuff, like, they never miss a chance to put out something for people to buy. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but
Yeah.
And we got nothing still.
Yeah.
And we were kind of anticipating the start of the year would be Maul time, that would lead us right into the spring and get ready for Mando and Grogu. And we know nothing. So,
Yeah.
but like Derek said, it's actually kind of great, because it just leaves us to our own imagination. And
One of these days, we're going to guess something right.
yeah.
Well, with the animation side of things, they've really just dropped trailers like 4 weeks in advance and then been like, it's coming out next month. Like, they don't
Mhm.
really give that much lead up time anyway when it comes to animation. So whenever that Maul Shadow Lord trailer drops, it's only going to be at least less than 2 months until it releases, at least, I think.
So we're looking
but
at February probably, because if you're looking at those, and we still don't know what the drop is for the comics. We know it's dropping March 4th, I think.
that's what it
but-
said. Yeah.
Are we getting all 5 of them, or are we going to
Yeah, we
go one per week? So that's
Yeah.
the thing. So now you're going through March into April, and if it's going to be 2 months out, you're still looking at February before they even probably give us a trailer, which stinks.
I just don't think they will, and maybe they do, but I wouldn't. I hope they don't. Is put the Maul Shadow Lord overlapping with the release of the Mandalorian. Like, that just doesn't seem smart business wise. But I mean, you never know. Could drop on May the 4th.
I think that would indicate, if anyone wants to see, I think our live from maybe the beginning of December, we did probably our most like our longest dive into what we think Shadow Lord's gonna be,
It's so
Yeah.
good.
and we just went on for a while. So if you ever, it's probably our best collected thoughts at that point. But I know some of the stuff we were talking about was, you know, possibly some aspects of Maul being like these little underpinnings to the live actions coming. For example, Marok to Ahsoka. Not that it like is consequential to the plot of Ahsoka, but that's a very interesting underpinning.
Yeah.
Those types of things. I would think if that scenario happened that you just mentioned, Mike, where they run Maul into Mando and Grogu, there'd be a higher chance of a more significant theme present in Maul that shows up in the movie. Similar to, I've mentioned it before, you know, where we get Grogu healing Grief Karga in The Mandalorian in the first season, and then Rise of Skywalker came out. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
little thing like that kind of normalizes something that they're going to tee up. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I would think the chances for that are more likely if they run the animated show into the movie release. I don't see them doing that. I agree with you. I think it'd be a weird two things happening at once, but
Yeah. It would to overlap it in a year where you have the opportunity to not, and you have the opportunity to have content running for a really long extended period of time throughout the year just
Mhm.
doesn't really make much sense either. I will say Max Rebo brought it up in the chat. Some comics run for once a month. And if this is supposed to be a prequel and it has to be a prequel, like it has to come out beforehand, well, that's going to be an issue if it's once a month, because then we won't be seeing Maul Shadow Lord till like September, which wouldn't make sense either. So,
well,
Yeah,
this
but I think a lot of them come out every week.
Yeah.
Depending
Yeah.
on how long.
it depends on
it
it
is.
depends on the
Right,
run.
Right. So
I think
go ahead.
I just
No, I
wanted
was
to
just-
shout out Max Rebo real quick. That
Yeah.
this is the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Mhm.
He nailed it. It's like these
Yeah.
things. It's not like super consequential, but it would make sense for it to be in both the movie and the show.
Yeah.
Um,
And
I
maybe
think
Stinky.
that. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I mean there has to be connective pieces, and a character like Stinky the Hutt who only ever showed up once in the Clone Wars movie and then shows up as this grown-up version in the Mandalorian and Grogu. It would be nice to have a sort of connective piece, and Maul could be the place to do that. I think Maul could be the place to see many number of familiar faces, like the Bad Batch gave us Fennec Shand and Cad
Mm.
Bane.
Mhm.
You could do that with the underworld. You can give us bounty hunters like Bosk and Boba Fett and all them, or you could even see people like Asajj Ventress. Like Nick always says, the tail stuff either sets up or fills in gaps from something that already happened. For example, Morgan Elsbeth or Count Dooku with the Camino archive stuff. Maybe the last Tales of the Underworld, was setting up Asajj Ventress to be in this show,
Mm.
which would be crazy because he is fighting a what looks to be a blue lightsaber wielding Jedi of sorts, and maybe that's Asajj Ventress's apprentice from Tales of the Underworld.
Yeah.
I'd watch that.
I'd watch everything. Like, come on. Who are
Right,
who are we right now?
Yeah, I was just thinking, it's like it doesn't matter what it is when it comes out, we're all gonna watch it, and I think that, and again, even with the prequels, for me, it was still awesome, no matter what it is. I mean, there's nothing out there right now that I'm just like I'll never watch that again. I mean, I just watched The Rise of Skywalker on the plane the other day, and
Yeah.
it's just I'm like, and that's why I was so excited when I think you did that poll a couple weeks ago or something, Mike, about what you're most excited about. But me, for Maul right now, because it's the soonest, and
Yeah.
I don't think it'll overlap. I think what they'll do is I really think that they're going to drop these comics. Are either going to come out all at once, or they're going to come out once a week and lead up to it. And I don't think that first season is going to be a 16 or 22 season. I think it's going to be something like 12. and I think they're going to give us a little taste. I think we're all going to jump in, and grab onto it. And then once we're done with that, we'll have a little bit of break. And then Mandalorian and Grogu comes out. And then that sets off and goes, that goes to $2 billion.
Of course, naturally.
Yes.
I actually, speaking of $1 billion, Avatar Fire and Ash just passed $1 billion. I don't get. Did you guys see that movie?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
I've never seen any of them.
Yeah, I had to go to 2 theaters to see it because I went to the first theater on Christmas Eve and the projector broke, and that was like the 4DX or whatever. And so I had to go, like me and my brother and my nephew had to go to a whole other theater in another town, and it was just like a normal theater, but it was still wonderful. Mike's gonna bash it. Let's go.
No. I'm not gonna bash it. I've heard that these movies are visually really, really good. I've even heard the story is pretty good too, but I don't understand how they make this much money. I don't. I haven't seen the second and the third one, so granted that whatever. But Derek, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. You're the first person I've ever talked to that's seen that movie. Not just that movie, but the second one too.
Yeah. Seen them all in theater.
Apparently, a lot of people did.
Well, I saw the first one in theater 4 times.
I did see the first one in theaters.
One thing is that Avatar does really well internationally.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like it does really well internationally. So not that nobody sees it here, but
yeah.
The problem I have is that it's so long.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It is the most beautiful thing ever. It is incredible. And this one it had a lot of humor and a lot of like adult stuff in there. But oh my gosh, 3 hours and 15 minutes. How they make money is you pay for your ticket. And if you want to leave and you want the movie to be over, you got to pay again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if that movie again can go 3 for 3, making well over $1 billion each movie, I mean, well over. The first two are like the top 3 highest grossing movies.
Well,
all time.
this one hit $1 billion faster than the other
two.
Yeah,
which is
it'll
insane.
go higher.
So you're talking about 3 $2 billion movies. Now, the argument against The Mandalorian and Grogu making $1 billion is that movies don't make $1 billion anymore, which is a ridiculous statement when last year, I guess it didn't make $1 billion until this year, but whatever. Avatar Fire and Ash made $1 billion. Zootopia 2 made $1 billion. Lilo and Stitch live action made $1 billion. And I think maybe something else.
That Nazda or what that.
Oh, that made $2 billion. Yeah, that was insane. And then the year before that, you had Deadpool and Wolverine made $1 billion. Moana 2 made $1 billion. Like all these, Inside Out 2, maybe it was that year or the year before, made $2 billion or whatever it was. There's plenty of movies making billions of dollars. And The Mandalorian, maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like I got some common sense going here. The Mandalorian is their biggest show on Disney Plus. It's a quote unquote guaranteed success. Everybody and their dog knows who Grogu is, and they'll go to the theaters to see him, especially kids. So I don't know.
I said it.
I'm preaching to the wrong choir. I'm preaching to 3 guys who agree with me.
I know, but like as a massive Avatar fan, I said Mando and Grogu's going to be bigger.
Bigger is crazy. That'd be wild.
I'm standing by that.
Oh, that's my thing too with Avatar is Star Wars has this massive fandom that's going to show up to movies. I mean, clearly the sequel trilogy, everybody complains about it. I was gonna, use
they all went.
Swear word of the year.
But
they all went. They all watched it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it made $1 billion every single time. One of them even made $2 billion. So it just seems a little crazy that the Star Wars fandom, as big as it is, thinks that it's not going to make $1 billion like easily. Is a little
silly.
It reminds
way bigger fan base.
It reminds me of you guys know that that professional bowler who used to wear like the goggles, and it was like his last throw is the last throw of his career, and they put the camera on him to like ask his thoughts before his last throw, and he's like, "Hate me or love me, you still watched, and that's all you could do." And that just like, even if people are going to like hate on Mando and Grogu, they're paying a ticket, contributing to the. So I think that's one of the arguments it has going for it. Another argument to counter Mike's counter argument. Did I get that right, math wise?
Like it. Is that double negative entendre or something?
Yeah, when people say movies don't make $1 billion anymore, I think what they're referring to is the fact that there's not as many movies getting made anymore because the only
True.
ones that go into the theaters are ones that are capable of making $1 billion and basically saving the whole hedge fund. So
True.
I think we're in the clear for sure for $1 billion. I don't know, like, I am surprised that movies are hitting 2 billion still. So I don't know the economics on it, like
Yeah.
that. But so I'm jury's still out for me on 2 billion. I think it'll be well into the ones for sure.
Yeah.
Is there a guy who loves Avatar with 190K followers?
Exactly.
Ooh.
Well,
Ron,
that's my weird thing about Avatar too, is like the movies make a ton of money, but it doesn't feel like there's a fandom there. Like it does, maybe there is a fandom, but it doesn't feel nearly as large as it should with 3 movies over $2 billion or over
Right.
$1 billion.
Yeah. There's more Star Trek fans than there are Avatar fans.
Yeah, or
I
even
think.
Marvel fans or DC
Yeah.
fans or whatever, or Lord of the Rings fans or Harry Potter fans or like all those. To me, there's like not a lot of merchandise for Avatar. Like you don't see posters for Avatar. Like people don't collect stuff. Like, of course, who am I to speak? I mean, look behind me and look behind Ron and look behind Derek. But it's a weird IP that doesn't really. It makes a ton of money, but it doesn't really like have the other aspects of being a fandom. Like there's no Comic-Con for Avatar.
Sit.
have you, Mike and Ron, you
Oh,
guys
shit.
have never seen Avatar?
I've seen the first one. I've seen the first one
no.
a couple times. I haven't seen
I've
the
never
second
seen
or
it.
third.
Ron,
Nope,
you never
I've never seen a whole. I mean, I've seen bits and pieces, but I mean, I couldn't tell you the story. I couldn't tell you. The
Have you ever
character.
seen Dances with Wolves?
Yes.
Okay, then you've seen it.
Yeah, that's it. You
I mean,
stole my,
I
you
love
stole
it.
my bit.
It's all right. It's okay. I love Avatar, but it's Dances with Wolves.
Yeah,
Well,
The
it's,
first one.
yeah,
yeah.
beat for
Someday I'm
beat.
gonna.
It's like the same thing. Sorry. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
No,
Interesting.
someday I'm gonna have to sit down and watch the second and the third one just to live the hype, but or at least just watch it because I've heard visually it's just incredible. And I watched the first one and back in 2008 or whatever it was visually incredible. But that someday is probably nowhere close. Max
You
Rebo
got a
brings
lot
up
of
a good
Star. You
point.
got a lot
though.
of Star Wars to watch still.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Max Rebo brings up a good
Mando.
point. The budget only being 160 million. First of all, I don't know if that's true, but let's see. Now,
Yeah, that's
Big
crazy.
I don't think
Max-
Disney's worried about it.
Max usually comes through with the facts. So
well, the thing is with the Disney Plus shows, the budgets were very, very small. Yeah, it's reported to be $166.4 million. The least expensive Disney era Star Wars film. That's pretty crazy. Now,
But they
granted,
do
that's
so much with Unreal Engine and
Yeah. True, but that is again a rumored figure, and I'm sure that will double with marketing and all that other stuff.
Right.
When it comes down to it, it's not The Force Awakens. Like The Force Awakens,
Right.
400 million or something was made to
Right.
make that movie. So
Well,
it will.
also people are neglecting that Disney just invested how many billions of dollars in AI?
Yeah.
And you think they're not using it on these movies? Come on, folks.
Yeah.
Some of these
Well,
AI things coming out are freaking insane, and
Yeah.
they're so cool. Which, I mean, they're just following along. I mean, and I haven't seen one, and maybe it's just because of what I look for and what I follow. But I mean, they're to the T to some of these, things that we've heard about or you read in the books or the comics, and now they're in live action or AI, whatever you want to call it, but it looks like it's live action. And I think that's pretty cool that they just looked like Mark Hamill,
Yeah.
Mhm.
on the screen, and all of these characters. And it's just crazy what they're doing. And luckily we do get to see some of that good stuff that's out there. And it, I think it does, like Derek said, it helps obviously Disney be able to do more for Star Wars as well.
Mhm.
true.
Yeah, even if it's like, and people are like, oh, well, they're not going to AI all the characters. No, it's like the backgrounds and the processes that it's making everything faster.
Well, the argument is is the George Lucas of it all. That's what Star Wars has always been. It's been the industry changer when it comes to making movies. The original trilogy, then the prequel trilogy, the sequel trilogy, I guess, but The Mandalorian using the volume for the first time in an efficient way. Like you go from they had to create different cameras to film the original trilogy to the first fully CGI character, a main character with Jar Jar Binks in the prequels and all the green screen and blue screen. Lucasfilm, or I guess ILM, just continually flips the industry on its head and improves it beyond belief. So it would only make sense that they can just continue to do that with all the new technology that they have. So,
yeah, absolutely, which is a good thing for us.
Oh yeah, it's a great thing for us.
I mean, it's a great thing for all film. Because like Mike said, they invented cameras. Like if it wasn't for Star Wars, film would not be where it's at.
No.
Nowhere near where it's at. And technology.
All the editing software that I use is all just because of what ILM did in the 70s and 80s. Like it's all just based off of that stuff, which is wild. It all goes back to Star Wars of all things, which is crazy. But the futuristic Star Warsy and
yeah. So I wanted to bring up something, and I'm just going to touch on that real quick in reference to Stranger Things. But then I know we'll go in and Nick wanted to. He's got a few questions for us again this round.
Ooh.
So, but I thought it was cool that, and it doesn't give anything away. It's just again in Stranger Things, which is huge right now. There is a Star Wars reference.
There's been several,
and then in the first episode, when Eleven levitates the Millennium Falcon, so it just shows you how much pop culture Star Wars is, and it's just so cool. I think that it just continues to go on where they didn't make a Star Trek reference, they didn't make an Avatar reference. Well, they couldn't make an Avatar reference, but it wasn't out then. But I just think it's so cool that somebody in there writing or directing or producing, somehow that got in there to make that Star Wars reference. That's just pretty cool.
And the coolest part about all that with Stranger Things is that the Duffer Brothers, of course, created the show, but a guy who's directed half the episodes for every single season is Sean Levy, who's now going to be the director of Starfighter. So
so if you haven't checked that out, Mike actually has a short on that, and it's really cool because I did not know that. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I watched it about a half an hour before we got on. I was like, "Ooh, that's pretty cool." Yeah. So, and is it a coincidence or not? The whole thing, but go check that out.
Yeah, it's almost like Stranger Things got him this gig of being the director for Starfighter. And actually, a couple days ago, I think Matt Smith, who's going to be the villain or a villain in the movie, he was talking about the parallels between Starfighter and Stranger Things. And I was like, ooh, how does that work, first of all? And then I was like, that's exciting. I love me some Stranger Things.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, what you got for us?
Let's hear it.
Oh man. So I figured we're in a new year. And
wait, since when?
Since when?
What year are we in?
We got you, Ron.
I lost you.
We got you.
We got you.
Keep going. You guys keep going.
Poor Ron. We are. All right.
Continue, Nick. Okay, so with the new year, we spent the last year with a big year for Star Wars. A lot that came out. We knew ahead of time this year was also going to be big. And I think from here on out, we got a few big years ahead of us. So for this year, I wanted to kind of reset ourselves with some questions similar to last time, where we kind of organized our thoughts about Maul Shadow Lord. If anyone didn't see that, go check it out. I want to do it for the next thing that we have on the docket that we know about, which is Mando and Grogu. And so, same as last time, these start kind of easy and fun.
What happened?
Poor Ron.
It's the ghost of Ron.
Yeah.
I'll mute him just in case. Hold on.
Here we go.
There we go.
We're in business.
I don't want him to say something.
So I wanted to start real easy, and then we kind of move into speculative territory. But I have some personalized questions for each of you to warm us up.
Okay.
So Derek, you're going to go first.
Oh, joy.
Near and dear to your heart.
Oh,
Okay. So Mando and Grogu coming up. We already talked about the parks, how they're
Yeah.
changing Smuggler's Run to be Mando and Grogu style. Probably not a plot point in the movie, but might inform of the places we are, whatever. How are you feeling at present moment? The likelihood that Black Spire makes an appearance in some way or a mention in Mando and Grogu if Smuggler's Run influences this movie.
90%.
Nice. Why?
90%, because there has been so much mention of it in books and everything else. The only reason that I'm not higher than 90% is because it could happen with Thrawn and Ahsoka. But that could mean that it happens in both.
Yeah.
But with them already having Mando and Grogu walking around Black Spire at the parks, and that was like how they abandoned. Oh, I think he's back.
Okay, sorry.
We got
You're-
you.
The boy
We
who
actually
lives-
had you the whole time, but
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's why I
hear
muted
you guys.
Oh, yeah, I muted you. So, because I was like, oh, he's going to start cussing or something. He's
Yeah, I'm
going to
gonna
roll.
drop- I'm
let me catch
surprised-
Ron up real quick.
Surprised I haven't dropped the F-bomb on here before.
Are you
So-
sure?
Maybe once.
Are you
Maybe.
sure about that?
You sure about that?
So,
Uh,
sorry. Go ahead. I know I interrupted. I apologize.
Well, I'm just gonna catch you up. We're gonna do a reset for the year on. We already kind of did it with Shadow Lord before the new year. We're gonna reset with Mando and Grogu this time. Questions start kind of easy and fun. Then they get a little more speculative, where we can all jump in. I would love for the chat to jump in too. I have personalized questions to warm us up. I just asked Derek what the likelihood of Black Spire making an appearance is in Mando and Grogu, and his answer
90%.
Okay.
And yeah, and also when Disney abandoned the whole, this is in the timeline of the sequels, and they did that by bringing Mando and Grogu in the park, which was insanely popular.
Yeah.
And if it happens in the park, it's canon. So, they're already there. They're already there.
Interesting. So Black Spire Outpost is on the planet of
Batu.
Oh, I knew that. Duh.
Yeah.
But Batu is out towards the Outer Rim, right?
It's the Outer Rim, yes.
Oh no, sorry, the Unknown Regions. I meant it's like on the border of it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, the Thrawn connection's there. I mean, he's been there in the books. So.
He has. So has Anakin
True. And
Padme.
Yep. I don't. I guess
Spoiler alert.
my answer would be like I'm 50-50 on it. I think it would be a
You
genius
can't
mark-
go 50-50. You got no.
51-49. 51-49.
I'm a Sith. I'm dealing in absolutes. I'm going 100%.
Okay.
there you go.
Well, my take on this is it would be a genius marketing play because they have the ride, and it would be like, come see the place that's in the movie. Like it hasn't
That's
been in anything yet.
Exactly. Like they're gonna do it. I'm telling you.
Sweet, Ron.
I would agree. I think that they're gonna bring it in there because it's become such a big thing. And again, I don't know if I missed this, but I think you're gonna get people that go see the movie and they're like, "Oh, Batu, oh," and then you know that's in Disney World.
Yeah,
Junior wants to go.
Also, fun fact: Disney just released this week their like Cool Kids Summer promotion where kids get free dining. Now, what is something that is going to entice people? Like, obviously, the free dining, but kids seeing Grogu on the big screen.
Yeah.
And then they go to the park
Yeah.
in the summertime after the movie comes out. Come on. 100%. I'm changing my answer. 100%.
There you go.
I'm a Sith. I deal in absolutes.
And Max Rebo brings up a great point too. They already have confirmed that those walking droids that are like fully self-controlled or whatever, they're going to be walking around the parks and they're going to be in the movie. So there's already that connection there.
Yeah. Well, they've been around the parks.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, already?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They
So
had
they
them out for a couple weeks and then pulled them back, right?
so they were at Disneyland and then they went to Disney World for a few weeks. Now they're back. I don't think they've been out at Disneyland again, but I'm hoping they do during NAMM because I'm gonna be there and I'm going to the parks for a day.
Nice.
Yes.
Yes. So there's already that connection to the parks and the fact that they're doing the smuggler run thing. So it would make sense.
Great. Next warm-up questions for Mike.
That was a warm up.
Here we
Oh,
go.
That's
Very
the grand
smart. Yeah,
finale.
we can take these ones quick.
Okay.
All right.
If you want.
Quick.
Cool. Mike, similar question. I know Ahsoka, the series and the character, obviously, but the Ahsoka series is very near and dear to your heart.
Yeah.
We got a very quick image of a little place called Dathomir. I know we've talked about Dathomir may be a place that we visit in every Star Wars project that comes out this year. What do you think the likelihood of being in Dathomir is for Mando and Grogu for your own personal interests?
Dathomir is a place I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I think they're saving it for Ahsoka because if they do that, then they're doing Thrawn and they're doing everything. I think the connection or the connective piece from Mando to Ahsoka is Zeb, and Zeb's going to be in both. We know that, but the fact that him and Din are going to be like buddies in this movie, that's the connection to how Din and Grogu could either appear in Ahsoka season 2 or beyond that. So I'm going to say Dathomir like a 10% chance. I think it would be a surprise, maybe towards the end of the movie, like maybe Din and Grogu find out that Dathomir is like the home base or something. I don't know. But I'd say a very, very low likelihood.
Anybody else got a thought about that?
I agree. I think
I'm with him. I think he kind of hit it.
yeah, I think it could be towards the end where we're like, hey, this is what's going to happen in Ahsoka, so we have to have a little bit of a tie-in. So, again, maybe tie it in so people are like, ooh, now I got to go watch Ahsoka. So, but I don't think it's going to be a major thing because it's going to be a major planet in Ahsoka. So,
I think, Mike, everybody agrees with you.
Epic.
Yep.
You win.
Ron, last warm-ups for you.
Mm-hmm.
Odds we see a legacy character or cameo in Mando and Grogu.
Hang on, define legacy character because you could be anybody and anybody.
Anybody?
We already know we're going to get somewhat.
Yeah, anybody in. I mean, you know what a legacy. Why are you asking me? You know what a legacy.
Well, no,
character.
I meant like it could be a legacy character of Luke Skywalker versus
could be a person, could be a non-human.
Okay.
Yeah,
could be a ship.
Yeah. No, I think we're going to see. I think my opinion is they have to do it for us, the four of us and the people that are on here, because we want. It doesn't have to be a big, huge thing. It's just like, I mean, how big was Darth Vader to people that didn't even care about Rogue One? It was so huge. It's the biggest part of that whole movie. And for us, when we saw that or heard that lightsaber, our minds were blown. So you're gonna Mandalorian season 2. Okay, here comes an X-Wing. Who is it? Okay, boom. They just blew our minds. He was there for what, a minute, maybe a minute and a half. And then they bring him back. Okay, but yeah, there's definitely going to be who it is. I have no idea, but I think we're going to get. I think we're going to get a few cameos. I think we're going to get an Easter egg that we won't see right away. At some point, one of us will put it out on the internet and slow everything down and stuff like that. So I think we're going to get, a couple kickbacks and some Easter eggs like that for characters. But I also think that we're going to get at least one pretty good sized character that everybody's going to freak out about.
Yeah, the Falcon.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to get the Falcon.
I mean, if the Falcon is the ride that's going to be Mando and Grogu themed, then you'd think so. And with the Falcon comes somebody significant.
Yeah.
At least Han or Chewie or Hondo.
I would throw out there that the fact that this is a movie and the first movie in several years actually increases the chances of some kind of cool legacy cameo.
Well, and I'm trying to think of The Force Awakens. Did we know we didn't know about Leia or Luke, right? We knew about Chewie in the previews when they did the
Yeah, and Han.
right, Chewie
Right.
and Han when they get on the Millennium Falcon, and
I think we knew they were all in the movie.
okay.
But I think actually we were so surprised how little Luke there was.
Yeah.
I do recall the fandom thinking it was a pretty cool start to an opening crawl to say Luke Skywalker has vanished.
Has vanished. Yeah.
You know, but
And
we never saw them in Luke or Leia in a trailer. I don't think.
Yeah. No.
So,
Well, since Nick came with the questions, I feel we have to ask him one, and I have a great one.
okay.
And it's planet based too, because you asked us a couple planet based ones too.
Right.
What do you think the chances are that we see? And it kind of connects to legacy characters too. Coruscant, because if there's Coruscant, you could get characters like Leia involved in that too, and we got Coruscant in Ahsoka season 1. Is that it? Oh, in Mando too. So what do you
Yep.
think we're going to see Coruscant? Din and Grogu have never been there yet. So
Yeah, I need Max Rebo's help on this, on when they start the voting and shifting of the capital of the New Republic, because that could be a factor. I think if we get a lot of New Republic stuff and they have not moved the capital yet, I think it's 100. I'm on 100%. We get at least a little, scene, because I do think part of this story will involve what we're already experiencing, this like breakdown of the New Republic and the people who are actually doing something to defend against the Imperial remnants. That is not the New Republic. These are people that might be within it that are like, I think both the Mandalorian Grogu and Ahsoka are going to like give seeds to what will someday tee up, a visual representation of the resistance being created. So I think to do that, you do what they did in Mando season 3, and Ahsoka kind of like pan to Coruscant for a second to show the dysfunction or something else even. Because this actually might tie into a question later, depending on your guys' answers. But there's a lot going on in Mando season 3 in Coruscant. A lot going on in Coruscant. There's a whole episode devoted to it. So I think it's very likely.
Do you think that maybe we got a scene on Coruscant in any of the release, like the trailer stuff so far?
Oh,
Do you think any of that could be on Coruscant? Like a hallway scene or something? I mean, not necessarily, but I'm just wondering. Wouldn't that be like
even that little bar scene when he walked through the water? It could be somewhere else, but it could be Coruscant as well.
Yeah, I guess could
be a really cool thing. Like after it comes out and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, like they hit it right in front of our faces."
Yeah.
Well, I mean, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, what if Din's going straight down to level 1313, and he's because we're talking about like the underworld and a bounty hunter here still. Yes, he works for the New Republic, but like you're talking huts and all that. We had Zero the Hut on Coruscant,
which would be a good tee up from Shadow Lord to get lower level Coruscant stuff, kind of familiarize the game a little bit, and Din goes there to make a plea to the New Republic, doesn't get help, has to go get some scum and villainy involved. So my answer is 100%. I think we all agree.
Love it.
Yeah.
Starting to sound very Sith-like over there, Nick.
You know it. Okay. So the big question of the night. Everybody can feel free to answer, including in the chat. I am guilty of maybe like over speculating over the past year about all of it. When it's Ahsoka, Shadow Lord, Mando, and Grogu. So I want to kind of reset for the new year and ask you guys where we're left off in Mando season 3 before we were even talking about Mando and Grogu. A lot of things happened. A lot of things went down. A lot of things are very different by the end of Mando season 3 than when we started with him. Are there any things from Mando season 3 that you ended the show thinking like, if there's a season 4, this is what I want to see or expect to see? That, for me, for example, I thought it was very cool to finally see the Mandalorians united, and I
Yeah.
felt like there was more to that story. I feel like when I start speculating about Mando and Grogu, I forget about that completely.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things like that I kind of overlook from the source material that this movie is coming from, rather than, I
Yeah.
start connecting it to Ahsoka and all these things. So I'm curious
Yeah.
as to what you guys
Ooh.
think.
I always forget that, for example, the Shadow Council meeting, I always forget that even though Moff Gideon's dead, or is he? Even though Moff Gideon's dead, Grogu is still like a big deal to them. Like it's not just because Gideon's gone that they're gonna stop hunting Grogu down. So that's gonna be a big point of this movie, but it's something that doesn't really get talked about enough because the Shadow Council meeting itself is clearly far more important than we think. Like it's where we get our first mention of Thrawn and all that, but just the other side of it, Grogu is still a very important piece to whatever they're trying to do, whether it's cloning, Project Necromancer, Palpatine related or not. He's going to be hunted down in this movie, and that might be sort of the catalyst of why Din is thrown into the fire, so to speak. But yeah, I think that side of it, especially Shadow Council members coming back, that's something I don't really take into account when I'm talking Mandalorian and Grogu, I guess.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think?
Well, I was gonna say we got to see the Mythosaur.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
We have to.
That's
And,
a big one.
Yeah, that's gonna be massive. And talk about merchandising yet again.
Yeah.
Every kid's gonna want that, and by every kid I mean all of us.
Well, my thing with the Mythosaur is, yes, they set it up big time in season 3, but I don't really see it coming out, at least in this first movie. Now, maybe it's a trilogy and it shows up later, but from what we have so far, and granted, we don't have much from this movie, but it doesn't look like we are spending any time, or much time, if any, on Mandalore, and that's where the Mythosaur is. Supposedly, Bo-Katan's not going to be in this movie, and all these other people, but that's if you believe that. So, I don't know. I'd love to see the Mythosaur. They clearly set it up, but
yeah,
so
but he
far,
said if there
nothing.
was a season 4. I didn't say the movie necessarily. Now I want it.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
So leaving season 3, it's like, what do I expect?
Yeah.
Where is this going, and what do I expect?
Yeah. I would love to see it in the movie. I don't think it's gonna happen. I'm kind of with Mike on that. But if there was a season 4 instead of the movie, they would have done something for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong because I'd love to see it. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I actually had that same thought when it ended, Derek, because I thought that the secret sauce to winning at the end of the season would be that he rides the Mythosaur, and they're down bad because Gideon's got the suit, he's got his clones, and the only ace in the hole they'd have is this beast that no one knew existed anymore, and then nothing happens with the Mythosaur, and so I was like, oh, okay, so that's going to be a big player later, but
Now,
I don't think it'll be in the movie.
I guess my follow-up to that is, do you think it's going to be Din Djarin that rides it? Because when Din goes for his bath and he sort of starts drowning, he's like knocked unconscious, and Bo-Katan swims down and saves him, and she's the one who sees the Mythosaur.
That's right, and doesn't tell anybody.
Yeah. So Grogu, I think, senses it at the end, or we think he senses it through the Force at the end of the season, but Bo-Katan knows about it. Din Djarin doesn't know about it. So I don't know if Din is the lock to ride the Mythosaur.
But case in point is exactly why I asked this question, because I forgot Bo-Katan didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because that it makes it's not just that the Mandalorians are all happy and united. There's still some stuff going on. Like her not telling them about it, Darksaber's gone,
I remember for a while fans, with her not telling them, thought that Bo was gonna turn on Din Djarin. I remember that being a conversation.
Yeah, I think we got a statement. Ron looks like he got a tan. Ron, you did get a tan, right?
No,
he did.
I tried not to.
It's just the lighting.
Yeah.
Ron, what do you got any Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot on that. But again, first off, since we're on the Mythosaur, okay, first of all, who's riding it? Why are we riding it? And what are we going to do with it?
Because it's
Okay.
awesome. That's
Yeah,
right.
but we got,
'Cause it's awesome.
we have Boba Fett, coming to the rescue, with the Rancor, riding the Rancor.
Mhm.
I think we see some of these things with the chessboard and Mandalorian fighting these monsters and jumping on their back and doing this and that. But what is I mean, is the Mythosaur going to go and up into space and knock out Thrawn from the sky? That's my thing with the Mythosaur. I think it's cool. I think it would be cool to maybe have it as for lack of what I don't know about it, but like it's like the eagle, that represents America. Here's this Mythosaur. It's a really cool thing, but that's my whole thing with the Mythosaur. I think it's cool. I think it's a neat thing that they have to represent, their world, but what are we going to do with it?
Yeah.
It's true.
So-
It's symbolic of like maybe giving Bo-Katan the hope that they can come back together, because not only were they taken aback by Mandalore still existing, but then she sees that thing as like, well, maybe this is doable. It's symbolic.
Yeah, well, and that could be it. That's my whole thing. And there's a perfect example. At least that'll answer my question. Yeah, she can ride it with all the Mandalorians that have come back together or whatever, and now she's back on top again. But now they all see the Mythosaur, and it's like, holy cow, this is really cool. This really does exist. So we need to unite. But again, and then once they all unite, they didn't bring them back together for no reason. We're gonna see the Mandalorians fight against, I'm gonna guess, maybe in the second of the trilogy, Thrawn and maybe we see him in Ahsoka, but I don't think so. But I think it's at some point we're gonna see, and possibly it will be, in Mandalorian and Grogu, we'll have some of them come together, depending on, and that's the thing, you don't know what this whole battle is going to be yet. And are we going to bring these, Mandalorians all back together again?
Yeah.
And then there's again, what are we doing with Mandalorian and Grogu? They're just sitting around doing, are they going to become the sheriff? Are they going to become Cobb Vanth, and hang out in the town there now? So there's lots of things I think we could do with it, but I wasn't sure what was going to go next. And I just wanted them. I like the adventures that they go on, and things that they've been able to do. Some of them weren't my favorite, but the things that they're doing and little pieces that they're meeting, and still people are still after Grogu. I think that's the whole thing, is like, again, with the Shadow Council. I want to know what's going on with the Shadow Council and who's still, tied into it. And now that Moff Gideon is gone, who is going to be the leader of this?
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. But I think, if, like Derek said, if it was a season 4 instead of the movie, I think we would have seen more of the Shadow Council and more of the Mandalorians all together doing something, fighting somehow, because you have that big army again that you can use to go fight a bigger power.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. My take too on the Mythosaur is, I think that this is going to sort of connect back to the Bad Batch in some sort of way, tie this all together with Mount Tantus and all that stuff, because Mount Tantus is heavily involved in the legend story of Heir to the Empire. But when I think of the Mythosaur, I think of Mythosaur versus Zilla Beast in an epic live-action battle of big monster versus big monster. But that's just my fanboy dreaming over here.
Well, I'll throw this out there too, that I guess mentally kind of lump Book of Boba Fett in with Mando because of the way it went down.
Yeah.
So to your point, like, I kind of assumed with the whole I don't. Was it a post credit scene or just an end scene where Cobb Vanth in the back the tank?
It's post credit, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of assumed that would play a large role. And am I correct in that we haven't seen him since?
Haven't
Correct.
seen him since.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We'll see him, and that
Yeah.
could be one of those, like the other question that you asked. You know, he could be one.
Yeah,
I
like
wouldn't,
a
I wouldn't
cameo,
count
yeah.
that out, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I would say if they brought him in, there's still going to be, I think, a bigger character than that.
Mhm.
That
Yeah, I
he
agree.
he could come in and be like, oh, okay, cool, he's back, just like Boba Fett could walk in
Yeah.
into this movie, and okay, cool, and same with Bo-Katan. I
Mhm.
think all three of them could walk in and we'd be like, all right, cool, I expected that.
Yeah.
But
And yeah,
Right.
and if you're getting Cobb Vanth, you're probably going to get Boba Fett as well. That's the thing. All these actors and actresses like Katie Sackhoff and Timothy Oliphant and Tamara Morrison are all saying, "No, I'm not in that movie." But
Mhm.
somebody's got to be lying. Like
Yeah.
they can't all just not be there.
yeah,
And at the
I
same
definitely
time,
think one of those three is definitely lying, if not all
Yeah.
three of them.
at the same time, I guess like for those characters, if there was to the point is like if there was a season 4, I would full on expect
All of them.
something to do with those pieces. And I was just thinking the other day, like how that changes the expectations of what happens with this story based on, you know, the things we leave untied in season 3, and now our next medium for it is probably a little over 2-hour movie,
Yeah.
which would be cool, but it might help us narrow in on whatever's most important going on. And so that's what I was asking the question for, is like what are some of the most important things that you recall from ending season 3? We kind of wrapped the bow. I think someone mentioned it in the chat. We kind of wrapped the bow on Grogu going to Luke, like that. That's kind of
Yeah.
done.
That's good.
We wrapped the bow, I think, on Gideon. I think he's dead.
I agree.
Me too.
And we wrapped the bow on there being infighting with the Mandalorians, but that also opened up, questions that Mike brings up all the time. Where are they later? We've seen later, they're nowhere. What are they doing?
Yep.
Are they around? So obviously it's dependent too if we're getting a movie trilogy or not with this.
Yeah.
But I don't want to view this movie as Mandalorian season 4 because I think it'll be different. But I know that I had recency bias of having seen Skeleton Crew and Ahsoka and all these other things and going like, well, Ad Atten's going to be in Mando and Grogu and Dathomir is going to be. And then I was like, wait a second, how did we actually leave it? And, I think it might be more localized for sure to start,
Yeah, and you got to think, even if it is aspects of what Mando season 4 would have been, they were kind of pressured into making this movie because they wanted a guaranteed success to be their first return back, and The Mandalorian was their biggest thing. But they also have to have a movie-worthy story of telling. It's
Mm.
not easy to go from telling 6 to 8 hours of storytelling with a show, a whole season of a show, to only like 2.5 hours to tell a story that's important enough to be a Star Wars movie. There's only 11 of them. I guess 12 if you count the Clone Wars movie. But there's only 11 of them ever, live action ones. So it needs to be a story that's important enough to warrant a movie. So I think it'll have aspects of what Mando season 4 was supposed to be, but there has to be a bigger picture here.
Yeah.
And
And
what
to
that-
Ron's point earlier, I know a common theme amongst people who love The Mandalorian even is that there's some adventures and filler episodes that aren't our favorite,
Yeah.
and the good news is if you have to condense it, there is a lot that can be taken out of what would be an 8-episode season. It's almost every other episode is something that kind of didn't need, which is
Yeah.
fine. It like builds on it, but I think it'll kind of get to the point faster than a season of Mandalorian does.
Exactly.
But I'm just curious. I'm glad that we all have like different perspectives on our questions leaving season 3 because it could go anywhere, and it's tough now with all the possibilities with Skeleton Crew being involved. And if you recall, all the way back to Book of Boba Fett, and now what we got going on with Ahsoka, there's just, new possibilities. And the more I think about it from season 3 of Mando, the less I feel that this is going to bleed with Ahsoka as much as I originally thought it would. I think it'll tee it up for sure, but I kind of thought they'd run right together, and I don't believe that anymore. So
Yeah, I don't really either. To that point, though, the Mandalorian, as you were explaining that, and it makes perfect sense with how there's filler episodes and all that. Like Ahsoka doesn't have that. Ahsoka's 8 episodes of the entire story is just from episode 1 to episode 8. That's it. There are plenty of filler episodes in The Mandalorian, and it's a different type of show. It's, it's like a cowboy type deal. Like there can be a mission of the week type episode with a greater picture still happening behind the scenes. It reminds me of the Clone Wars. Like it's the live action version of the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars has some of the greatest arcs ever. Like Siege of Mandalore, Mortis, Umbara arc, like everything. It has its filler episodes, and a lot of them. It's pretty much just The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian's the live action version of it. Less episodes, sure, but it does have its filler moments. And I honestly think, because people use filler like it's a bad thing, the filler moments is what gives us more time with Grogu and Din Djarin specifically, and develops that relationship and those characters. So it's not like they're just pointless.
I don't think they're pointless, but at this juncture, they're developed together. You know what I mean? So we don't need them, and unless it's to build up, there's plenty of really important information that they put into filler episodes sometimes. So I'm not saying they're not important, but we're at a point now where you can really get to it. And that's a good point you made. I guess I didn't really think about Ahsoka doesn't really have much filler. You're in it the whole time.
Same with Skeleton Crew. I feel like some of these Skeleton Crew episodes like take a side adventure, but it's still for the most part the main story of like At-Atin and all of that. But yeah, the Mandalorian definitely gets caught in that the most. Book of Boba Fett, same way.
Yeah.
I guess it's 2 different stories because it's the flashbacks and all that, but it's still from episode 1 to episode 7. A solid story with no filler, really.
Right. Well, and we only have 1 season of all of those, and obviously they knew that Mandalorian and Grogu, I don't think they knew it was going to be this big, but they knew that they were going to do multiple seasons of it. So you're going to have that, come on, and that's going to work to their advantage, obviously.
Which becomes an issue nowadays because shows are getting canceled after 1 season. The Acolyte. Hey, look
right on cue.
Hey, I waited. I was sat here and waited.
It's true though. I mean, these shows get canceled after 1 season when they don't give them a chance. Like we wouldn't get Mando season 2 if it got canceled after 1 season. You wouldn't get all 6 more seasons of the Clone Wars if it got canceled after the 1st season. So that is a fault of, attention spans nowadays, but
Well, and I'm just excited, and I think you guys are as well. And I'm probably a little bit more for me because that's my thing. But I'm excited for all of it because I can't wait to see how they're going to tie some of this stuff into everything and the Easter eggs and all that stuff and the speculations that we have. Some of them may come true, some of them probably aren't, but everything that's going to come out, I think, because of who's in charge of all of this stuff that's going on right now is the guy that we're going to call Mr. President. So I think it's just going to be more and more good Star Wars stuff coming out, and again, we all love the Acolyte, and Skeleton Crew and all of those, but Dave is in charge of these 3 projects pretty much. He's brought, sort of Maul back to where he's at now. Ahsoka is his baby, and Mandalorian and Grogu was him and John. So I think all of these are going to be fantastic. I don't think again, people that are going to hate on these are just hating on them to hate on them because I really don't think they're going to be, you're not going to be able to pick these apart because Dave Filoni's behind it, and that's my opinion. And I think we're just going to get so much stuff to fill in. Even like some of you guys here in the chat, some of the questions you're asking, if we're going to get in these fill-ins and different things, I think we're going to get a lot of information and more information this year with these 3 new things coming out, and I'm super excited about it.
It is funny you bring that up. It's sort of the year of Dave Filoni where all these projects, like he's the animation guy. He's not obviously creating Maul Shadow Lord, but he has a very big part in it, I'm sure. He's an executive producer on The Mandalorian and Grogu, and he's making a Ahsoka season 2. So it's his year.
Yeah. And you can't say, I don't think anybody's really bashed anything that he's done.
Oh, they try. No, I've seen plenty
like
of
the Acolyte, but I'm saying not like the Acolyte, Skeleton Crew. Yeah, we loved it. It really didn't get bashed on, but it didn't do as well as we would have loved to see it do. Where the other stuff that Filoni has done, nobody's bitching about that stuff. It
is really hard. I see a ton of like Dave Filoni hate out there, and it's just because of Star Wars fans being Star Wars fans, but it is hard when you look at his lineup of stuff he's created and or worked on. It's almost impossible to give that guy any crap, from Clone Wars to Rebels to Mando to Ahsoka. And
well, not to be the guy that steals the spotlight from Dave Filoni, but I think an overlooked part of this movie is Jon Favreau, who we've been seeing make a series, but probably better known for making films. And I think the secret sauce of this film is going to be Jon Favreau kind of getting back into Iron Man mode with Mandalorian and Grogu, and kind of giving it. I think it's going to feel different because it's not a long drawn out Western series.
Yeah,
I think that's, I think Filoni's there obviously for his talents and the creativity and the Star Wars of it all. But I think Jon Favreau is really going to make this feel different, kind of like, Iron Man 1 and even 2, like, feel much different from later Marvel movies, feel much different even from their counterparts.
It is interesting.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up because Mando is pretty much the Iron Man of Star Wars. Like, he is so used to doing those action sequences with a character like this. And now Din Djarin's got the jetpack. So, like, he's literally Iron Man flying around.
I was going to say, he's like got the suit.
Yeah. And as you bring that up, it's the duo of the two of them. It's pretty much like John plus Dave equals Dave Filoni. Equals George Lucas. Because on one side, Dave's got the lore. He's got all the Star Wars knowledge. And then on the other side, Jon Favreau's a great filmmaker. He's a great director and he's a great writer. You combine the two of those things and you got George Lucas. Like, it's really the perfect combination.
And John's a fan too, which helps.
Yeah.
You could take the greatest director and producer, whatever, and have him come in and do Star Wars. It'd probably be great. But to be a fan, now to be friends with John or with Dave, yeah, absolutely. It's the best of both worlds for us. And like you were talking about with Iron Man, and then look at what he did with Lion King. Look at the CGI stuff that he's done. So this is going to be a fantastic movie. It's going to be, an orgasm for our eyes.
Wow.
Okay, Ron.
All right, Ron.
All right.
But
we'll get there.
That might be the quote of the year.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody's ever said that before.
Quote of the year, and it's only January 7th.
Yeah.
That's our T-shirt, fellas.
Star Wars
Jedi
orgasm
Chat.
for the eyes.
Star Wars Jedi Chat podcast. It's like an orgasm for your eyes. I'm writing that down. I don't want to forget that. That's going in the notes.
But seriously, this is. I mean, there's so much good that's going to come out this year. I think, and we're all going to enjoy it. And again, as content creators, and we continue to go on this year, it's going to get busy. And Mike knows that for sure. As these things come out, especially with Maul comes out once a week, and even the comic books leading up to it. And then we have a little bit of time to digest it, I think. Like I was saying earlier, we're going to have a little bit of time to digest Maul series, talk about that for a little bit, and then boom, we're right into Mandalorian and Grogu. And that's, and we're going to pick that apart for, ever to try to find little things that were cool that we missed and different things. And then again, I'm sticking to Ahsoka coming out this year. Then we're going to go into that, and I think some of that's going to tie in to Mandalorian and Grogu for sure.
Yeah, I think with Ahsoka coming out this year, it was kind of confirmed, not 100% confirmed, but Disney Plus has this thing now that says stuff coming in 2026, and Ahsoka's on that list. So,
Oh, it is now.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then going back to the Mandalorian thing, imagine if the Mandalorian and Grogu comes out, and I doubt they'll announce it beforehand, but let's say it comes out and is successful and it makes $1 billion and all that. And then like at some point over the summer, you hear Disney has greenlit it to be a trilogy. Like that would be the biggest news, and people would go crazy because now you're not just getting hyped about one movie, you're getting hyped about 3. And people like Force Awakens time will get to start speculating about what's coming in the next 2 movies and all that. So
And
I
come
will
to the
say-
parks and see Mando and Grogu
yeah.
in the park.
I
and ride the new
think
ride.
that at the end, and it's hard to say. Well, because you still had 4, 5, and 6. So yeah, Empire was obviously we knew we were going to get another one with Empire, but again, Star Wars, we really didn't know that he was going to make Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
So what I was going to say is I think that they're going to leave Mandalorian and Grogu on a cliffhanger, which
They still could.
right. I still think that they could do that, and then we're going to know, okay, they have the oomph to put out a trilogy. If not, if it flops, then okay, we maybe left a little cliffhanger, but it's not going to be I'm your father and cut scene.
Yeah.
You know? But I don't, and that's not going to happen. But there could be a good cliffhanger, because it's Star Wars.
Yeah. I've always held out the hope, and honestly, it's mainly because I feel like it's been rumored so hard, it may be even confirmed, that there's this like mythical Filoni heir to the Empire thing that isn't any of this, that isn't Ahsoka,
Yeah.
that isn't Mando and Grogu. And I would think that would be the series series of movies. And maybe I think we talked about it before. Maybe Mandalorian and Grogu is like the first installment of that. But I
Yeah.
think by the end of it, if we're getting a trilogy, it's more like the Heir to the Empire trilogy, because it just feels like that one gets kind of tucked to the wayside. But we're like in the middle of where that would be and the events that would set that up or be happening in it. Unless, one of the movies that they're planning on making in conjunction with Mandalorian and Grogu is just called Heir to the Empire, like the books.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I always assumed that would be the trilogy, but maybe I guess I'm saying I don't see a Mandalorian specific trilogy. I
No,
would
because
think
Din Djarin dies in the first movie.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like maybe if there is a trilogy, it's kind of to lead into this ultimate Dave Filoni heir to the Empire solo director, whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't see a Mandalorian specific trilogy occurring.
No, me either. I think the bigger story is Thrawn, and I hope there's at least stuff that teases Thrawn in the Mandalorian and Grogu. But yeah, that Dave Filoni movie was announced 2.5 years ago that it was going to be this culmination movie. It wasn't called Heir to the Empire, but that's pretty much what it is. That brings together all the characters from Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, Book of Boba Fett, etc. And that technically is still happening. As far as we're aware, it's just going to happen after Ahsoka Season 2 is done because he's obviously got his hands full. So I agree with you. I think the Mandalorian and Grogu will be the first installment, and that's the second installment. Whatever the third one is, I don't know, but I guess only time will tell.
Well, but I also think that now that Dave's possibly switching, positions, again, we might not get his trilogy. He's going to be pretty much the overseer of 100% of Star Wars.
Yes,
Creatively, right now
no.
he is, and then he goes into this. But I think if he does 1 or 2 movies, it's not, people aren't going to be pissed off. Oh, Dave didn't do a trilogy.
Yes and no. I think what could happen is John and Dave, of course, Dave's executive producer on The Mandalorian and Grogu. Dave directs the first one, or sorry, John directs the first one. Dave directs the second one, and maybe John directs the third one, or whatever. And in terms of him being the president, at least what's rumored for now, he's going to be the co-president. So he still has the creative control to do the creative side of things. Well, Lin Win, I think her name is. I don't know if that's how it's pronounced, but Miss Brennan, she's going to be the other co-president, where she's in charge of the business side of things. The same thing they did with DC. So
Right.
James Gunn is a co-president or co-CEO over at DC, but he still made the Superman movie. He still directed the Superman movie. He's still directing the second Superman movie. Like, he's still heavily involved in the creation of things. So just because Dave is getting this promotion, or might be getting this promotion, doesn't mean we're not going to get Dave Filoni content.
Right. Yeah, and I think we're definitely going to get his his content, but and like I forget who said it, but somebody said now he might make it happen. Hey, I'm the president, I'm the co-president, and
Yeah,
I'm the
yeah.
creative director.
Yeah,
I'm
there you
doing 3
go.
movies.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But if he does, I don't think if he's going to do his own trilogy, obviously it's going to be a minute, because we got all these other things that are, on the whiteboard. We got all these other things that are actually in progress right now. So I think that'll be a minute before he does that trilogy. But obviously he's going to be involved in all of these this year and everything else from here on out.
Well, if we do some sort of quick math, The Mandalorian and Grogu comes out this year in May. It finished filming in December of 2024. So is that right? Yeah. So that's
13
1 year,
months.
Year and
a
a
year
half.
and a half, a year and a half, give or take, because December to December, and then 5 months. So give or take, a year and a half. That would mean that if you're going to stick to the structure of a trilogy, and it be, I guess, what they did with the sequels, which was 2015, 17, 19, 2 years in between, then you'd have to start filming the second installment the end of this year, right?
No, maybe
Yeah.
now.
No, well, it has to finish filming by the end of this year.
Oh yeah. You'd have to start now.
Exactly. So that doesn't seem highly likely, unless Ahsoka is done filming, so it's in post-production, unless Dave's writing right now like a madman. Or maybe he already has his ideas. I don't know. They announced it 2.5 years ago. He might have been writing for 2.5 years.
Right.
So I don't know. That would seem to be pushed out pretty quickly if that's the case, if it has to go 26, 28, 30 for the trilogy. But
Well, and like I said, everything else that's coming out right now as well. You got Starfighter that's going to drop in 27. We don't know what else is coming out in 27. In 28, again, this Rey thing is, I think it's going to happen at some point. The whole Kylo Ren, or the Hunt for Ben Solo thing, that could possibly, pop off sometime soon here. And once, like we were talking about at the beginning with Disney changing over, top men, that could switch over as well. So I think it would, and I think it would be great if we could get 2 Star Wars movies in 1 year, but I don't think we're going to do that.
Did it before.
Yeah, true.
They
But that
did,
was a
yeah.
funny thing I was going to say when Derek got back. He was talking about how long, Avatar was, and even my son who's into it, Jacob, went and saw it, and he's like, "Yeah, it was long." And I'm like, I could watch Star Wars. I could have sit and watched the prequels for 6 hours.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have complained. I would have been like, okay, I want more. I want
Yes,
more.
Yeah.
Jody Dan said, ring, ring. Hi, Timothy's on. It's Dave. Want to smash out the script with me? Cheers. If you watched any of our other episodes, that is probably not going to happen. After I personally talked with him,
Yeah.
doesn't look promising, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
he would do it if they
right now
called.
they
But I
still
don't
have
think
a
they're
good.
calling.
They still have a good character in him. I think they did a good job in Rebels with him. And in Ahsoka as well. So I think they're going in the right direction. Is there some really cool things that Timothy Zahn brought to the table with Thrawn? Absolutely, and I think it would be great. But like you said, he's probably not going to happen. But I still think we're going to get a good character out of this.
Well, based on that, there might be, I don't know if you want to call it a silver lining. I think we'll still get a Dave Filoni movie, but we had speculated that the Rey movie might just be a byproduct of them knowing they couldn't do Hunt for Ben Solo.
Yeah.
So they're just saying, and then they didn't have anything to announce. And so they're kind of like placing that out there. And we speculated that anything that we will have coming from that era, if we don't get Hunt for Ben Solo, will be elements of what's in that story of some kind. I think we all agreed that they won't do away with that story completely. And we either get the thing that it was, or we get pieces of it in Starfighter or whatever that kind of build that world of where we're at in the timeline. Could it be possible that this original Heir to the Empire plan is now just essentially what we're getting in Ahsoka season 2, the Mando and Grogu movie, and maybe a sequel to it, and that this technically untitled Dave Filoni film is not an Heir of the Empire trilogy? Could they have kind of switched gears and said, you know what, we're going to make Ahsoka season 2 the meat of the Zahn stuff, and now they just don't need him anymore? Like, I hate to, I might be just too hopeful that it's not weird, but I hate to think that they would just ditch Timothy Zahn if they have a very long plan for Thrawn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I mean,
it's
from the
already
horse's
done-
mouth, though, he said that they have not talked to him
yeah,
in a long time.
Well, and Grand Admiral Holly brings up a good point, and maybe next time, or if one of us gets to a con this year, I would definitely. I wish I would have thought of that and asked him to come
Well,
on.
so
while he was here
I
and
did
there.
ask him, and he said that with all his other writing, that
Okay.
he's not doing any.
Okay.
Otherwise, yeah, I definitely asked him, and
that's
him
how
and I
that
had a
John
wonderful
Johnson was
conversation.
that did the living force.
John Jackson Miller.
Yeah. When I saw him at one of them, he was like, "Well, I got this going on and that. You'll have to go through my agent, And that was what was cool with James Lucino. It was just like, I got his, But again, it was a friend of a friend, so that was cool. So I was able to make that connection. But to give him a call and him be like, "Yeah, let me know. I'll come on and talk about my books and." But yeah, it would be great to have Zahn on here and talk to him, and
because he's my favorite.
Yeah. So
I mean-
I did talk to while everybody's here, I did talk to Chris Bartlett. He's going to come back on.
Sweet.
So I'm doing another interview with him. If you haven't seen it yet, I have a 3-part interview with him on here on our videos, but it was during the strike. So it's funny. He would, he would talk about, Boba Fett or C3PO, I guess C3PO or some other things that he had did, and he would point to the figures that he had in his room and stuff like that, because he couldn't talk about a lot of that stuff. But those are really cool interviews, even though he doesn't drop a lot of names in that one. But we're going to get him on here again sometime soon and do a cool. He's just a great human being and a cool person. And again, those are the things I'll have to ask him beforehand. But I mean, he's been in Mandalorian and Ahsoka, so I'm like, dude, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I'm sure he won't be able to say too much, but
Yeah.
Again, I would almost guarantee that he's probably in one, if not both, because he's played several droids in both of them. So that'll be sort of cool, something to look forward to. Maybe we might have to maybe get him on after Mandalorian and Grogu, and then that would be a cool thing too, to talk to him about some of the process, because obviously he's not going to be able to talk about too much before the movie comes out. So, but sorry, I went left on that one.
No, totally fine.
But did you have any other questions, Nicholas?
That's it.
All right. Well, it's so crazy. Again, like I say every time, it's like we start out here and then we go this way and that way and we go back around. And
Squirrel.
which is but it's so cool. And then finally we usually wrap around again to something else. So it's cool to be back. It's cool to be talking Star Wars again after the holidays. Thanks again, everybody, for jumping on. Wow, it's 3 a.m. in the UK. Well, thank you so much.
For sticking with us.
Thanks,
That's
brother.
insane.
And everybody else that's here. We're coming up on 2 hours. It's been fantastic. Just great to get back into the Star Wars thing and talk to people that enjoy it. Mike's tomorrow, 2:00. A guy who loves Star Wars. Make sure you go check that out again on Saturday and then on Tuesday. And then we will be back next Wednesday. Look for a couple shorts for me that I got coming out tomorrow. I'm actually, like I said, I'm going to do a little bit with my Star Wars room that I'm rearranging. You can see a little bit behind the scenes. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. And that's about it for now. So we'll see you guys on the next Star Wars Jedi chat, and may the Force be with you. Thanks, guys.